Good evening, listeners and viewers. Welcome to The Flip Side. I'm your host, Brody Wagner, and today's topic, we're going to talk about the Wisconsin wolf hunt. Now, just to give you a little background information before we start. The quota for the 2012 and 2013 hunting season was about 201 wolves were to be killed in this new hunt. Non-tribal hunters and trappers killed 117 wolves in the 2012-2013 season, but the Chippewa tribes elected not to use 85 tags that were allotted to them in their ceded territory. The DNR is working to reduce the wolf population in accordance with the Wisconsin Wolf Management Plan established in 1999. The plan, which is scheduled to be updated over the next 2 years, sets a management goal of 350 wolves in the state. The state's wolf population was estimated at between 809 and 831 animals in 216 packs over the winter of the 2012-2013 hunting season, according to a DNR report. The previous winter's estimate was 815 to 880 wolves. In addition to the wolves taken by hunters and trappers, 124 wolves were confirmed killed through other means in 2012, according to the DNR records. The other sources of mortality include 57 killed by wildlife agents, 22 by vehicles, 18 killed by landowners, and 9 killed illegally. Because the state's wolf population was unchanged or declined only slightly over the last year, even with increased mortality from hunting and trapping through depredation control efforts of the state and federal agents, a higher quota had been anticipated this year. The committee recommended the state issue 2,750 kill permits to hunters and trappers to reach the 275 harvest quota. Chippewa tribes are entitled to 50% of the permits in Wisconsin's ceded territory, which is roughly the northern third of the state. It's unknown whether the tribes will elect to use any permits this year. It's also not yet known how many kill tags will be offered this season to non-tribal hunters and trappers. So with that basic information, that brings us into our flip side argument for this week's episode. We're going to be talking about the status of the gray wolf in Wisconsin as it flips continuously from being put on the endangered list to being put off the endangered list. And the two main arguments that come from putting it back on or off are from the Native Americans side or point of view in the Humane Society, and then the other side being the hunters and the DNR and farm owners with livestock in danger. So, just give you some numbers about the endangered listings. On January 29th, 2007, the gray wolf was delisted from the endangered list for Wisconsin because the numbers were up and they were in very stable order. And so after some hunting season, on September 30th, 2008, the wolves were placed back on the endangered list due to sues from the Humane Society. And the endangered list being listed and delisted kind of popped back and forth for the next couple of years. On April 2nd, 2009, wolves being delisted from the endangered list. On September 16th, they being relisted, and that kind of went off for a few years until December 28th in 2011, when the wolves were delisted from the endangered species list. When finally in December 19th, 2014, the wolves were relisted. So, talking about one side of the argument to why the wolves should be on the endangered list and not be hunted, and that would be from the Native American side of view. The Native Americans view nature and animals as sacred and important figures in their lives. The origins of the wolf date back many, many centuries to the history of creation and the Ojibwe creation stories. So the original origin would be of the Wolf Clan people who came from water, and when they reached the shore, the Wolf Clan people were transformed into human beings. In the Ojibwe creation stories, wolves are often described as family members of the tribe. And the Ojibwe people live with the perception that if whatever happens to the wolves, it will also happen to one of the Ojibwe tribe. So the wolves are more of a spiritual being for the Ojibwe people, and they're also spiritual leaders who guide the Ojibwe people and all of mankind through life spiritually, and then through the spirit world as they pass on. So with that being said, the natives obviously strongly oppose wolf hunts. For if one wolf is killed, then it is believed that a tribe member would also be killed. So in 2010, not in Wisconsin, but in 2010, the Red Lake Band of Ojibwe in Minnesota designated their 843,000 acres of land as a wolf sanctuary to try and combat these low wolf populations as they see it, and also to preserve their cultural heritage. Now, on the flip side of the argument, we have the hunters and the DNR. So the wolf populations have always been a big issue in Wisconsin. Many hunters despise the wolves because they interfere with hunting with other game populations, most notably deer populations. The more wolf packs and more wolf population you have, the less deer are going to be around for hunters to shoot and provide for their families. So that's one side. Another part of the hunter's argument is for farmers to be protecting their livestock and their cattle and their sheep, because the higher the wolf population, the more they're going to want to hunt easier prey, and it is much easier to kill a cow in a pasture than it is to hunt multitudes of deer. Most hunters, even if they don't hunt wolves, they will hunt coyotes, and they will hunt bear, and they will hunt big cats, and they will use hunting dogs to hunt these animals. But if they're using their dogs in, say, even the training season, if they're using them to hunt bear and they stumble upon the wolf pack usually ends up being more aggressive and sometimes ends up killing these hunting dogs through no fault of their own. So this is a big problem with hunters in that aspect, which is why they don't really like wolves. So to kind of recap what we've talked about, the Native American view gray wolves in the Wisconsin area as being a sacred animal and kind of a leader for their people. They've lived amongst humans forever with no special problems, and only having wolves act aggressively towards humans if they were provoked or otherwise have their natural habitat disturbed. The hunter's views and the DNR views are that the hunters are helping to control the population of wolves by keeping it down to a reasonable level to where the deer and the other game around will not be threatened. Farmers are also protecting their livestock and their livelihoods by shooting wolves on sight when they're near their cattle or their sheep or whatever else they have. So, in the final conclusion, I want you to sort of think to yourself about how you view wolves. They may live with us very peacefully and whatnot. However, we are the alpha predators, and we can control the wolf population if we think it is right. And that's all for today's episode. Join us next time when we'll be talking about students finishing their school projects after midnight the day before it's due. I'm Brody Wagner. Thank you.